I'm Ray Jumper, class of '69 EHS. After high school, I was one of the few that got drafted. I guess in 1970, that's when I was inducted into the United States Army. I remember catching the bus in front of the old post office. A bunch of us went to St. Louis. I did my basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. 8 weeks there, no leave in between. Shipped me right out to Fort Ord, California. When you're drafted, you know what you're going to be in the service. You're going to be infantry. Did 9 weeks in Fort Ord, California, and after the 9 weeks advanced training, we were shipped straight over to Vietnam. That was my first, my second plane ride. The first one was from Fort Leonard Wood to Fort Ord. The second one was from Fort Ord, California to Cameron Bay in country. After spending a week, Cameron Bay to Eagle Beach, or Eagle Camp Eagle, which was the 101st Airborne Air Mobile Unit. We were at Eagle Beach for a week, getting us acclimated to the country, getting our weapons and our gear to put us in the jungle. I remember my first insert. They put us in by helicopter. We were fully rooked up, equipment and all. It's hot LZ. We took fire the first time we were in country. The choppers couldn't land. We had to jump in this stuff they call elephant grass. It's tall grass. You don't know where the bottom is. You just jump off the skid of the helicopter and fall. I said, what did I get myself into? It's not very good. But after you're over there for a few days or so, you get kind of acclimated. In Vietnam, I was with the 101st, the 2nd and the 501st, the 101st Airborne Air Mobile Unit. Every time they put us in the jungle, they put us in with helicopters usually. Things weren't bad all the time, but you did come across times when things got ugly. Most of the time, the enemy would hit you and run, hit you with a bang or shoot somebody and then run. Other times, you would have to defend your position. There was one time in particular where I walked, well, my job in the jungle, I walked point, cut trail, and things like that. But one time we were, it's an everyday monotonous thing what you do. You get up in the morning, you send out a squad, depends on if you're working company size or platoon size or squad size. What you do, you get up in the morning, there's areas they want you to check out. They might have seen movement or heard enemies in the area. So you get up in the morning, you cut trail, move 500, 600, 700 yards or more, cutting trail through the jungle. Then at night, you set up your perimeter. And it's a monotonous thing, you do it every day, but you got to keep your guard up, never let your guard down. This one particular morning, we were going to check out another place to spend the night and check out the spot. So, sent out a squad. I was walking point, radio back to the company, got movement. I think we got movement up here to our left front. And Sergeant Mahone had told us he doesn't think there's enemy in the area right now. So anyhow, we get to the spot where we were supposed to be setting up the next night camp. A few of us stayed in that spot while the sergeant took Bob, Art, and Kiggins, and himself up to the top of the hill where we're going to set up perimeter for that night. All of a sudden you hear a big boom. okay? Things not good. The sergeant comes back down the hill to get the other guys. We go up there and one guy's dead, Bob. Art has stepped on a mine, blew his legs off, right below his knees. Bob was split up the middle, he was dead. Kiggins lost an eye. We radioed for the rest of the platoon to come up. So in the meantime, the rest of the platoon's coming up. We called in a medevac. The rest of the platoon gets to the top of the hill where we were at. I told Sergeant Mahone, I think the holes up here, the foxholes, are booby-trapped. So he was thinking, no, I think that was all of them. So he's not more than 2 feet away from me. He steps on one, blows 1 foot off and half of the other. I didn't get a scratch. And you wonder how things like that can happen and nothing happened to you. So I figured somebody was watching over me. And after you have an experience like that, it changes you. And you get the mindset where you think that if it's going to happen to you, it's going to happen to you no matter what you're doing. Sitting at home on the TV, watching TV, going 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle. If it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And you get that mindset in your mind, and then everything, you're at ease about everything. But in all the chaos that was going on there, we got medevac in. You know, guys hovering, he drops the jungle penetrator, which is a ball on a cable, and when it comes through the jungle, you strap the guy on it, and they lift him out. Well, that didn't go so well. First medevac, when he hovered, dropped the ball, boom, it was shot out of the air. We laid down fire on the enemy and everything. They hit and run. But then that night, you know, we had body bags to take back down the hill, secure our position. Next morning, that's when the big brass came out, went back up on the hill, torched the helicopter, took out all the equipment, blew it up, and things like that. But like I said, you don't see stuff bad all the time, but when things did get bad, it wasn't nice. But you get the mindset where, hey, I've seen what happened now, and how things can go bad real quick, but you get the mindset where if it's going to happen to you, it's going to happen to you. After that, everything is just at ease. I've seen a little combat. I've seen Phantom jet bomb hillsides. I've seen B-52 strikes. I've seen us when they're putting us on LZs into the jungle at times. I've seen guys step on things and blow a foot off, and they're right back on the chopper, taking them back in and things. But like I said, I never got a scratch. Most things I had to do was fight the mosquitoes, fight the leeches, stuff like that. But it's the most beautiful country. You get out there in the country, there's no industry out there. You can drink from the streams. You're supposed to carry enough water to last you 7 days, enough water and food to last you 7 days. During the monsoon seasons, you never had to carry water that much, because you'd always could find a stream, or you caught it off your poncho after you set up tent at night, or hooch at night. Good memories. It made me the person that I am today, but I wouldn't want to do it again. When I came home, like from Vietnam, we were in Washington, state of Washington, and my older brother Jim, he was in the service before I was. He was just getting out when I was going in, and he told me about how the people in the States were. and things like that. So when I had my leave, you know, came to Fort Lewis, Washington, and everything, I got civilian clothes to fly from Fort Lewis to St. Louis for my 30-day leave and everything. And then when I got home, I could see how people were protesting, and you didn't want to say, yeah, just home from Vietnam. No parades. I spent a year in Vietnam. After I got out of Vietnam, I had about 6 months, 7 months left to do in the service. I had 30 days leave. After the 30 days, came home. All I wanted to do was stay at home, listen to the radio, take a hot shower, watch TV, had wheels. All the luxuries that you thought were very small while growing up were really big at the time, because you just come out of the jungle, didn't have any electricity, no running water. You know, it was just luxury being back at home. After that, 30 days leave, they shipped me to Fort Hood, Texas. They attached me to a mechanized unit, the 5th Cav. And me and a couple of my buddies from the war, they put us with a tank unit down there and sent us right back out in the boonies in December in Texas. We didn't like that very much at all. So we start complaining to our captain, squad leaders, and everything, and they said, okay, we won't send you guys back out in the woods with these units anymore because we know you're short. You're going to be getting out of the service soon. So I got an early out. I think it was about 3 or 4 months early out from Fort Hood to get out of the U.S. Army. Came back home. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. All I know is that I wanted to get a job that I could bring home $100 a week. Being working in IGA through high school, you know, my manager called me back up. Kermit Lou, everybody knows Lou's IGA. Kermit called me back to work. He says, Ray, he says, we got a couple of guys short. They're out with injuries and stuff. How would you like to come back and help us out for a while? And I said, well, sure. He said, well, you were drafted, you still have all your seniority, all your raises and stuff. And I said, well, great. So I went back to work at Lou's IGA. In the meantime, I took some night courses over at Rankin, enrolled in night school at Rankin School of Technology over there in St. Louis. So I went to school 2 nights a week and then worked at the grocery store 40 hours a week, which was pretty nice. I finally graduated, or got my certificate from Rankin after 2 years of night school and everything. I never did do anything with air conditioning, refrigeration, and heating, but it helped me out a lot in the grocery business. By this time, I had about 13, 14 years in the grocery business, so it was a union paying job, so I stayed in the grocery business. Ralph and Dave, Ralph Shemp and Dave Helmkamp took over the IGA store, and I worked for them until they closed. When they closed, I was fortunate enough to get a job with Shop and Save. So with the 15 years of a union job with IGA, I did another 21 with Shop and Save, and retired, I guess, about 14 years ago. It was, I had about a little over 37 years in with retail clerks, union paying jobs, so I got credit for 40, so I wanted to still be able to do things when I retired. I was never married, didn't have any kids to put through college, so it was just me. And so I decided to retire and help my mom with my stepfather. He hadn't been feeling well, and it was a load for her, so I retired in 2005. I don't regret it one bit. Life's been great. I still see some of my buddies from high school. We get together every now and then and have a beer or two. But that's what my life has been like. Yeah. My time in service, especially in the war, kind of changed me, made me appreciate small things in life. I got to see some of the most beautiful country in the world, I think, in the jungles of Vietnam. It was a good experience, but I wouldn't want to do it again.